You have such a beautiful voice, and it's often described sort of as R&B with a little bit of soul. Is that how you describe your music as well?
I would actually. R&B, soul, and then some house, of course. Yeah, I would say so.
Who are some of the artists that influenced you when you were growing up?
So I was a huge D'Angelo fan. Let's see, Music Soul Child, of course, in like the neo soul era. I loved SWV, Anita Baker, um,
I can
and
see
probably
those.
Aretha.
I mean, that in your voice is so rich.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Your long-awaited project, Pretty Little Love, is out. Is it an EP? Is it an album? Or is it just indescribable because it's so many different things?
So initially when I did it, I was thinking like, oh, this is going to be an EP. And then the more I kind of listened to it and kind of felt my way through it, I was like, no, I think this is an album. So I classify it as an album, even though I know some people are like, I think it's an EP or, so I'm like, I'm good either or, but for me, it's an album.
Is there, going into Pretty Little Love, was there a concept you had or an idea, or did you just find your way through this and it turned out to be, a romantic tribute?
It's crazy because after the first project, Fonte came down and was like, "Hey, I want this to be about you. Like, what do you want to say?" So the first one, the label kind of helped, and they were a bit more hands-on, and this one was like, "Hey, so how are you feeling?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't, it's like I haven't put together a full project before. So the first like year and a half of it was me going like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm just making things. And as I kind of went on and I reached out to more people, the songs kind of came together. And honestly, half of the album came in the last like 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
So it kind of got put together, I would say, and it turned into something. But as I was making it, no idea.
What is your songwriting process? Do you need to have a beat before you can craft lyrics, or is there no specific way you always write a song?
Um, Now that I'm learning guitar, I'm doing my best to try and like hum the things that I've always been, like singing things in my head or I leave a voice memo. But I've never been like, okay, here's the thing I have in my head. Let's put it together to something. I usually have beats, but for this project, I started on guitar making things, and then I would send things to Zoe and Tall Black Guy, who are also part of the FE family, and they would help me kind of craft. So I stepped into the like production world for the first time on this project while trying to then also write on top of that. So I think it now I can say I probably do a little bit of both. Of like sometimes I need a beat, and other times I'm like, no, I think I got it.
This is your first time as a co-producer for songs like Don't Wanna Be Your Lover or Finally. And I know you're a guitarist, as you mentioned as well, and you got to play guitar on Finally. What did it mean to you to finally step into such a larger role of, involved with the music you make?
I do. I think I recorded myself that day of like sitting in front of the computer and recording for the first time. I was in a full panic. I was just like, oh my God, I'm doing the things. Oh my, so it's still hard to see myself as a guitarist as I'm still learning. I'm still in the very early stages, but it was it was gratifying just to be like, okay, yeah, I started this idea with just a little loop here, and then, I play guitar on this thing over here, and now it turns into these actual ideas. And I'm like, oh, I feel like a craftsman. Like I can make things with my hands. This is crazy. So it's still kind of settling in, but it's rewarding. I'm hoping to do more.
I love Don't Want to Be Your Lover. I think that's one of my favorite songs off of this project. What are some of yours? Certainly they're all your baby, but do you have a particular song maybe that holds a special place in your heart?
Hmm, what do I love the most? Well,
Well,
let's
maybe
see.
Finally because you're a guitarist on it.
Right. I was like, finally was the very first song I started with. And we didn't even know what to build around that. It was just like, I made this thing. And they're like, this is nice. We don't know what to do with it, but sure. Um, but most of the time I would say finally just because of the place that I was in almost 3 years ago when making it and learning. But as of today, I would probably say Red Light Fantasy. I think that's
Ooh,
probably my favorite, just because I come back to it probably more often than the others, in my opinion. Just
good
because it's,
choice.
yeah, like vocally it's fun and flirty, and I like the little spice
Stealthy
to it.
vibes. Very good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is there an emotion or a message that you hope lingers with audiences that explore Pretty Little Love as a whole?
Um, Honestly, I think it speaks to like a woman, I would say in their 30s, but really at any age, just kind of like navigating from like getting out of a relationship and don't want to be a lover to, try and navigate and be out, in the streets, as they say, as you're trying to date again and kind of just be free and figure out what you want to do. And then you get to Pretty Little Love and you're like, I kind of want to be, or might be ready. And Pretty Little Love is like, I kind of might want to be back in love again. I don't know. And then by the end, you're just like, life's crazy. We'll see. I don't know. So it's basically just like a journey of like the highs and the lows of dating and getting to know yourself and what you want all of that to look like, in this new phase of your life, in this next phase. So I hope that people can just kind of relate to the journey, honestly.
What kind of fan responses have you been receiving to this, to the new songs, to the project itself?
So the fan favorite has definitely been might be ready. It's definitely a fan favorite. Um, I guess just because of the 90s like nostalgia kind of feel. People love that song, which is still crazy. You just never know, by the way, when you're choosing. So, they love that. Um, People really, really enjoy Free and Don't Want to Be. Don't Want to Be just fun. Dan was included, which is funny because we didn't know if it would fit. Um, and I think this was the very first time that I had a project where people were saying, like, I really love this entire body of work. Not that they didn't love
Wow.
the first one, but they really were like, this feels like a very you project. Like, you put this together. You really, like, this feels authentically you. So that was so far, I think, my favorite comment to date.
Will you be performing live in the near future, going out on tour in the near future at all?
I am. So January, well, we're in January, aren't we? My goodness,
At this
2025. Here
point,
we are.
sadly,
We're here.
we finally
Um,
reached January.
I know. Oh, okay. So I have a So Far Sounds show in Raleigh coming up in January. So doing just like a little kind of acoustic set. And then I go to Amsterdam to do a festival with Nisha, who did Free on the project. So doing a couple of shows out there. And then for Grammy Week, I'm doing a show in LA. So we'll be premiering all of these live, all of them with a band or some form of a band. So I'm really, really excited. Yes, but this year is all about getting out and touring and getting in front of people. That part is my favorite. So wish me luck.
This project includes features from Fonte and Carlita Duran. Do you have a dream collab you love to sing with in the future?
Ooh, who would I love to sing with? Outside of like Beyonce. I feel like it's a given. Like that, yeah, that's a given.
Everyone.
But
Why wouldn't
I was
you?
like, yeah, who would anyway? So yeah, outside of Beyonce, dream collab. Can they be dead or alive, or do they have to be alive?
Well, let's do a live because we'd love to see it actually manifest.
I don't know. We have AI now. I had to think
I
about it.
was
I was
right.
like,
It's
let me
you and
see.
Luther Vandross at this point.
Right. I'm like, yeah, I would prefer them to be alive. That'd be great. Um, who would I love to collab? Oh, I would love to collaborate with Jasmine Sullivan. Yeah.
Be good with
She's,
you and SZA or her. Love to see you on the guitar with her.
oh man, she's one of the reasons I play. Just watching her do all the things. Absolutely.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the beautiful music you make?
Well, first off, thank you for listening or streaming, buying, sharing my music. You could choose literally anything to listen to on the planet, and you chose me. So I appreciate that you took time to do that. And please let me know where you'd like me to come. I know I get requests all the time, like come to Chicago or DC. And I'm just like, hey, I want to get in front of you. The best way you can support me is to, buy the project, stream the project, share it. I still have vinyls from the first album, so feel free to
Wow.
grab those so I can make new vinyls. So, yeah.